Now, in the studio, once again, I thought I'd lock the door, Chris, but you've come back again.
Oh, I'm persistent.
How are you? Well, Chris has come back to give me another chomp on the cherry, and he wanted to give me more about his play called More. Last week we played a couple of grabs from the rehearsal segments he's been doing. They've had some pretty nice rehearsal nights, haven't you?
We have.
What's it like? When some of these guys probably work, and girls work full time, and they come in to do rehearsals after work.
It's a big demand on them, Mike, for sure. And when you consider nearly over a third of our cast come from as far away as Kendall and Port Macquarie. So, some of those people have been working all day, drive then up to here. But they're amazing. Once you put them on stage, they find an energy, a special energy. There's nothing like putting you on getting on that stage, mate.
Fantastic. Yeah. So last week we discussed more. We did a couple of grabs. We did one with TJ, one of the main character.
The main character, yep.
Who's a bit of not a very nice person, really.
As I say, he's the character you love to hate.
And Al is
his daughter.
His daughter. We did a grab on that, and just briefly, what do we hear last week about that?
Just background, more central characters, TJ Carruthers, multi-millionaire, but all he wants in life is more. It's not, and he says to his daughter, it's not about the power or the money or anything else. It's just because it's there. And
she said, you have hundreds of millions of dollars, Dad. What do you want? And I want more.
He just says more.
Yeah, and greedy.
And if I can give you a bit of background, inspired by Kate McClymont's book, He Who Must Be Obeyed, an expose of Eddie Obeid.
Yeah.
And when I read it, I thought if you sat Eddie down opposite you on a table and you asked him that question, that's the answer you'd get. More.
Really?
Yes, for sure.
And the other grab was Celeste and TJ. They were just getting on board the super yacht there.
Well, yeah, Celeste is his French mistress, and TJ is so insensitive. This the play set on the evening of his 50th birthday party. He's invited all of his friends, but bear in mind, his wife, Nan, is on board as well. They've been married for decades. But he's so insensitive, he invites his mistress on board the boat as well.
Where do you get these ideas from?
It's a very interesting question. They just spring to me. And they stay with me and they grow, and then I build a world around the idea and the people. I'll put the people in it. I've never actually written a play quite like More before, where the central character is so unlikable. But I just thought these unlikable characters provide a dynamic that good people don't.
Do you like actors who are doing a part in a particular play or something? Do you take on that personality as you're writing it, or?
Good question. Yeah. I've always tried to give my characters agency, that is self-will. And can I just digress? The person who actually made me realise the importance of this was the late Harold Pinter. And I directed one of his plays many years ago called The Caretaker. And there's this long monologue in the middle of The Caretaker where one of the characters, Aston, talks about going away to an asylum and they give him shock treatment. And it runs for about 2 or 3 pages. And the interviewer asked Harold Pinter, is he telling the truth? And Pinter's response was, I don't know. And I thought, how brilliant that when you create a character and you let him go, and that's what I always do. I always let my characters have free rein. So
the audience doesn't know either.
The audience doesn't know either.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because I always compare that to something like a Woody Allen film script where, I love Woody Allen, but you can hear Woody Allen's voice in nearly every character. And I don't like that.
No.
Like, that's just didactic preaching. And I love this idea of creating these characters and then thinking, what would they say? What would they do? So, yeah.
How do you write a female part?
Interesting point. And you really, for me, I really do have to step across that line and see the world through female eyes. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't make that much difference, but in a play like More, it does. It makes a huge difference. And when people, for example, when they see TJ's wife, Nan, She is a long-suffering woman. She's had to put up with this guy for decades, and you really do have to get into the mind of that long-suffering wife, that female partner, and of course the feisty young Ally and the French mistress. They're all females, and I try to see the world through their eyes. I hope I achieve it. I think I do.
You don't sort of cross-dress for the occasion or anything?
I don't have to go that far.
So you want to listen to this first, this other grab?
Okay.
Which is what? Just give me a brief description. Or we talk about it later.
Take about it
after.
later,
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Bon après-midi, mon amour. Mwah.
Celeste, welcome aboard.
Dad, you didn't invite her, did you?
Oh, she's a work colleague. Why not?
She's your bloody mistress, Dad. Everyone knows it.
Oh, Ellie, darling, never fear. I shall make sure your father is on his best behavior tonight.
I think that's Mum's job, Celeste, don't you? Dad?
I'll certainly be on my best performance for you, Celeste. That's for sure. Not so sure about my behaviour, though.
Dad, that's disgusting. How could you do this to Mum?
Listen, Ali, it's my birthday. My birthday, not your mother's. And hey, what's wrong with inviting Celeste here? She manages one of my most profitable retail companies. She deserves recognition.
Bullshit, Dad. She's your mistress. Sorry, Celeste, but I can't believe that he'd rub Mum's nose in this shit. And I can't believe you or any woman would go along with it.
Oh, Ellie, darling, when you are older, and perhaps if you were French, you would understand.
Skip the patronising bullshit, Celeste. And the French be buggered. You are my father's whore. Plain and simple. I don't need to be any older to recognise that fact.
Whore is pretty strong language, Ali. In fact, I don't pay Celeste anything for her extracurricular activities. The pleasure's mutual, right, Celeste?
Absolutely, ma chérie. Mutual pleasure.
Besides, Mum will be cool about it.
Cool? Ice bloody cold is more like it.
Interesting. I should have put a warning about the language.
Yeah, look, apologies for those of you who may have found the language a little bit rough. There's not a lot of bad language in this play, but you can understand where his daughter's coming from. She is totally outraged that her insensitive father could go so far as to invite his mistress to his birthday party and sit at the same table eventually with his wife. But that is so typical of TJ. He does not care who he insults, embarrasses, hurts, all of his adult life. He's been driven in business in exactly the same way.
So, I was going to ask a brilliant question, but you put me off.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
That's right. How are the rehearsals going for more? Are they progressing really well?
I said earlier, Mike, our last rehearsal on Tuesday night, I was gobsmacked. I eventually sat at the very back of the theatre, which at this stage in the production, I usually do. I pick the worst seat in the house, and if it looks and sounds good from there, I know we're on a winner. But seriously, Tuesday night's rehearsal blew me away. At the end of it, I said to the cast, people will pay to see that performance, and we've still got a week to go. So, look, I can promise your listeners a play they'll never forget. So it really is a powerful play. And that's the first act. It runs for just over an hour, the first act. But we are introduced to such a range and variety of characters. You look at your watch and you think, only an hour, and I've seen so much.
So the sound in the bandbox is great. The acoustics is so good.
Perfect.
I mean, you were at the back and you would have heard everything, did you?
Exactly. You don't need mics or anything in the bandbox. We are so lucky to have that theatre here in Kempsey.
It's great. Okay, we listen to the next track?
Sure.
Which is what? We'll find out.
I'll give you the background.
Is there any swearing in it?
No.
Good.
But another couple who come on board are Harry and Joanne. He's known Harry for decades. And Harry's got an industrial brush company, and Harry stupidly borrowed $1.5 million from TJ, which for TJ is literally a drop in his bucket. It means nothing. Yeah. The business has fallen on hard times. The suppliers in Vietnam have dried up. but things are looking better. And they only need another 18 months and they can trade their way out of problems. But he hasn't made a payment for 8 months. And so TJ being TJ, this is the way he operates. He strips companies. And so he's going to give Harry 2 weeks, according to the law, to call in his debt. If he doesn't, he's going to bankrupt him, strip the assets out of his company, probably retain the business because he's done his research and Harry's quite right. His business is about to turn around, but at the moment he's asset rich, liquidity poor. And he even has the insensitive audacity to say, when I've bankrupted your business, Harry, and taken it over, I may put you in as my manager. And Harry says, you want me to be your lackey? And then earlier, Harry has said to him, my grandfather built this business up when he escaped from the Nazis from Poland. And this is TJ. Don't go slinging any of that Jewish guilt trip on me, Harry. It won't wash. I'm no more guilty for the Holocaust than you're a practicing Jew. And that's the sort of guy TJ is. And so later in the night, we have the party. And this little excerpt we're coming up to, they're all a bit boozed up.
Yep.
All right. Harry's sitting over in the corner with Joanne sulking. And so TJ sees him and he goes for the jugular.
You're excited about it.
It is. It's really exciting.
See the smile on your face. You're so excited. We'll talk about the show dates too soon. Here it goes.
And what about you, Harry? You haven't said a word all night. Still sulking?
Lay off, TJ.
Oh, poor Harry. Watching your family business go down the drain. How sad.
Hey, mate, leave it, will you? Don't you think Harry's copped enough for one night?
No, Peter. It's okay. I deserve it. I should never have accepted that loan from TJ. I know what he's like. Joanne was right.
And what did Joanne say about me?
Nothing.
I said you're a heartless bastard, TJ. You'd sell your own children if you got a fair price.
Well, one of them's worthless and the other one's indispensable, so you're wrong there.
Nice father.
Yes, that is a really telling insight into TJ. He's cruel. Even to his own children, he's cruel. The worthless one, he's worthless because he's gay.
Ah.
And, of course, TJ is homophobic as well as misogynistic.
He's got a lot of problems, isn't he?
In fact, he's a very complex character. He's the son of 10-pound Poms.
Yep.
And came to Australia and settled in Elizabeth. Some of your listeners will know of Elizabeth.
I got a listener in Elizabeth listening at the moment. G'day, Brad. How you going, Brad Johnson in Elizabeth?
Yeah, well, Elizabeth was originally established as an English town for English migrants.
Yeah.
And most of them ended up working on the production line.
I think Jimmy Barnes was there too.
Well, there is a line in the play that Elizabeth, it was only good for raising thugs and musicians. Yeah.
Okay. So when's it on?
Oh, well, we open on Friday night at the Bandbox.
Is that the VIP one?
That's the VIP one, and anyone can be a VIP as long as you're willing to pay the $55.
Do you have to dress up really
semi-formal, big event. We're having that price includes free drinks and canapes. So we've got Mike Kenny, who's a brilliant chef, who's going to be putting on a great feast for us.
Can we wear our best thongs?
Formal thongs are a must.
On our feet, I mean, not those thongs. Yeah.
Then there are 8 other shows, Mike. 3 of them are matinees because there are quite a few people who, for various reasons, don't like going out at night.
No, that's right. Driving it in the dark.
Yeah. And so 8 shows, 6 of them at night. Saturday, Sunday nights at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the second weekend at the Bandbox. Our last show is Monday the 13th. That's a public holiday, and we're doing a matinee on that day. People can buy their tickets online at Ticket Host. All you've got to do is search for More, and you'll see all the dates there.
That's MORE.
MRE,
yeah.
MRE. And or if they don't like going online, they can buy their tickets from Coastline Credit Union at the West Kempsey or the main Smith Street branch, or at Hourglass Jewellers. And you could take your chance on buying tickets at the door, but let me warn you, we turned people away from Flame Trees, some of whom came down from Bowraville. I remember I felt so bad, but the theatre was full. So my advice to you guys is get out there, get your tickets. You will never regret coming to see more, but also remember that all of the proceeds from this show go back to the Bandbox. There's no profit at all involved in this.
I think we saw Flame Trees 3 times, so that's a bit of a...
Oh, there you go.
That's a bit of a thing for you and the cast. Yeah.
Well, you know, Flame Trees, we had 9 shows. 7 of them were either sold out or within 3 seats of being sold out. So the other matinees, we don't fill the house, but and I suspect more will be the same. So please, yes, get on board and come along.
We need a bigger theatre.
Yeah, maybe, but it's a lovely thing.
It's a beautiful theatre.
But from a producer's point of view, Mike, it's great to say sorry, sold out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Nate, thanks very much. It's been great having you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And you hear some promos on Tank FM for this particular production, which kicks off on next Friday. And there's 8 other...
After Friday, yeah.
After Friday, there's 8 more.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I've got to come along.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Chris, thank you. That was Chris Dockrill, and producer, and you producing it as well?
I am. Producer, director, writer. Yep.
Okay.
3 hats.
Good money. Good wages. Nothing. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.